Very good morning to Ms. Mamit. I'm Chai Jia from Group 5, and these are my group members, Pavitira, Zisin, Divya, and Yasri. And these are the contents that we will be covering in today's presentation. First of all, I want to present about the differences between Hong Kong and Singapore in terms of their employment laws and practices. The first difference is their employment legislation. For Hong Kong, is the Employment Ordinance Cap 57 EO, and it applies for all the employees working in Hong Kong, regardless of their nationality. On the other hand, for the Singapore is the Employment Act, and this is their main employment law. The second difference is the minimum wage in these two countries. For the Hong Kong is 37.50 Hong Kong dollar per hour, which is around 6.58 Singapore dollar. And for the Singapore, the Employment Act makes no provision for a minimum wage for all employees who working in Singapore. The third difference between Hong Kong and Singapore is their working hours. For Hong Kong, there are no restrictions on working hours except in relation to young persons, those below 18 years old. In Singapore, the employees who cover under the Employment Act are entitled to work no more than 8 hours daily or 44 hours per week. Furthermore, the fourth differences between these two countries is the overtime pay. In Hong Kong, the EO does not require an employer to pay overtime or provide time off for overtime work by an employee. In Singapore, employee can claim their overtime if they are a non-workman earning up to $2,600 per month or a workman earning up to $4,500 per month. Last but not least, the last difference between these two countries is the bonuses that provide for their employees. In Hong Kong, in many industries, they provide the bonus around the Lunar New Year, such as the 13-month payment, Chinese New Year bonus, double pay, and also the end of year payment. The 13-month payment has become common practice in Singapore as a bonus that provide for their employees. Okay, that's all for my part, and now I will pass it to the next person. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Zisin, and I'll present the differences in work culture. So in terms of verbal and non-verbal communication, Hong Kong and Singapore culture relies heavily on indirect communication, such as less on words and more attentive gestures, expressions, and tone of voice to convey meaning in order to maintain the harmonious relationship. In addition to this, Hong Kong focuses on hints for hesitation when they do not agree with you, while Singapore gives their honest opinion when they do not agree with something. On top of that, the Cultural Atlas also states that decision-making of Hong Kong working culture is made from the top of the hierarchy. Apart from this, pragmatism dominates decision-making in Hong Kong, which makes them flexible and adaptable negotiators. While Singapore working culture decision-making is more on group-oriented, and then only let their supervisor review and seek for opinions. Besides that, the highest ranking person or most senior person will arrive in order of importance in Hong Kong workplace culture because they usually arrive on time, and excessive early arrival is a waste of time and inaccurate in the eyes of many Hong Kong executives. While in Singapore culture, the most important or most senior person arrive last in the meeting and need to be identified before the meeting. Cultural Atlas also states it may also take the Singaporean 10 to 15 seconds to speak their mind. That's all from me, and I'll pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Divya. Today, I'm going to present based on difference in culture systems, which will be using the hot first culture dimension. The first dimension will be a power distance between Hong Kong and Singapore. This can be seen where the Singapore will be the higher score than Hong Kong, which will be 74, whereas the Hong Kong will be a 64. Based on this Hong Kong culture, they are strongly believe in equalities among people and the relationship between the managers and also the employers towards pluralized and no defined defense against the power abuse. Will be the power and rules are centralized by their higher authorities, and they are more in the Confucian background. The second dimension will be the individualism. First, the Hong Kong score is 25, where the collective culture, people act interest of the group, and the hiring and promotions affect the closer in group. And the Singapore, they are more in the collectivistic society. In the Confucian culture, the frame of all organizations in India is their family. Therefore, they teach restrain themselves to maintain harmony because they found is the sense of dignity and self-respect. Not only that, the Singapore will avoid the open conflict and they are more respect each other. The third dimension will be masculinity, where in the Hong Kong will be the score is 57 and the Singapore will be 48. In Hong Kong, the masculine society where the success is oriented and derived will be the score is 48. They are more in softer aspect of culture in which people will be more modest and humble in seen in very important. For example, the employee will avoid conflict in private and also working life as well as being more cautious during discussions. The fourth dimension will be uncertainty avoidance. The score for the Hong Kong will be 29 and the score in Singapore will be 8, where the Hong Kong people are more comfortable with ambiguity. Basically, their culture is more adapt to the situations. Singapore, the score is 8, where their Singapore will more obey to the rules because there are more structures in every situation. The fifth dimension will be long-term orientation, where in the Hong Kong will be the score is 61 and the Singapore slightly higher will be 72. Hong Kong people are more pragmatic culture. People believe that truth happens very much in situations, contexts, and times. Besides, they will show their ability to adapt their traditional easily. Singapore are focused, support, and sustain effort and emphasizing fields. They are always keeping their options open and their mindset allows for more pragmatic approach to the business. Last but not least, indulgence dimensions, the Hong Kong will be 17, the Singapore will be 48. Hong Kong have a restrained culture where the societies will not much by the leisure time. That means they are not punctuality at the right time. And also, for the Singapore will be 48, where some people tend to be indulgent and some of them tend to be restrained. That's all from me. Now I'll pass it to next presenter. Thank you.
Good day everyone, my name is Yashi and today I'm going to talk about a recommendation for future recruitment strategy. The first one is skills and competencies. The power of an AI on assessing talents and competence and applying them to recruit experts is becoming a lot well-known topic. Although skills and competence have long been employed in talent management, notably for identifying and matching successories to key roles or establishing career trajectories, they haven't always been used well in international assignment personnel acquisition. When it comes to hiring the ideal experts, specific skills and competence are important. In comparison to an international human resource experts, a human resource manager requires unique talents, but it may overlap in one or two critical areas. Non-technical or soft skills such as time management and critical thinking must be evaluated alongside hard skills. Having the proper software to assist MNCs match the right experts to the right international assignment based on a set of skills and competence will help MNCs recruit more effectively in the future. Second recommendation is offering virtual international assignment for experts. The pandemic, according to McKinsey, has hastened the transition to remote and hybrid work. While adjustment has not been easy, many MNCs have been discovered that virtual international assignments considerably benefits for both MNCs and the expatriates. This revelation brought forth a new recruiting trend, which is a heightened emphasis on expert experience. To persuade expatriate to take a position with the company, some MNCs specifically provide remote working options for virtual assignments. Working from home on virtual assignment is preferred by many expatriates since it eliminates the need to commute. Remote work benefits expatriate because it can be a decisive factor for those who have been offered international assignments. Furthermore, remote work can boost expat morale and contentment. As MNCs attempt to maintain existing talent in the future, this technique will become more vital than ever. It's substantially less expensive than hiring expat, especially given the projected future lack of expatriates. The final recommendation is data-driven recruiting. Recruiting and hiring will become increasingly data-driven as the digital revolution proceeds. MNCs will continue to place an emphasis on data research and in-depth knowledge of potential expatriates. And also, MNCs should look to harness data, automate redundant processes, minimize the stress on human resource expatriate, and show how company evolution protocols may be streamlined. While MNCs will experience a lot of uncertainty in the future, this recruiting strategy will help recruiters find ideal experts to take advantage of the international assignment that are available to them. Moreover, MNCs should work hard to gain and retain a competent workforce in the face of general talent scarcity for international assignment by focusing on proactive engagement, improving screening, flexible workplace, D&I, and data-centric recruiting.
We try here, for my part, is recommendation for employee training method, which is simulation employee training. Okay, this method, which is we can get immediate feedback. With training simulation, employees can receive immediate feedback about their efficacy and use of the platform, equipment, or guidelines. Instructors can provide constructive criticism in the moment, allow employees to hone their mastery at the time, and retry new skills and approaches. It is best if instructors provide this feedback immediately or soon after training session have concluded. The second one is knowledge retention, which is by physically deploying new skills or actions, employees are more likely to retain insights and learn knowledge. Not only will employees retain the theory, the broader concept behind the new process, they will also be able to apply those principles to practice, further enhancing knowledge retention. Other than that, provided by a computer, augmented or virtual reality device. And following training may be necessary option for employee in high risk or higher risk areas. And this method is very effective and reliable, so that employees can progress continuously at their own pace. Method is group discussion. Group discussion is very important aspect of group communication. Group discussion are creative and dynamic activity which simulates reflective thinking among the members. Group discussion are maybe defined as an activity which is very small number person meet face to face and exchange and share ideas freely or attempt to reach a decision on a common issue. For the situation, we can identify the situation. To start the process, gather people together, introduce the problem, and encourage an open discussion to uncover all of the relevant issues. This will help people to start thinking about the problem before the role play begins. And also, the activities provides the perfect training opportunities and allows multiple employees to train simultaneously in a better environment for their current department or group, guided or facilitated by an online prompt that will be reviewed later by the supervisor, ideal for tasks that require a collaborative approach to complex problems. The third method, which is role playing. For first, add details. Next, set up a scenario is enough detail for it to feel real. So make sure that everyone is clear about the problem that you are trying to work through and they know what you want to achieve by the end of this session. And for second, it's assign roles. Once you have set the scene, identify the various fictional characters involved in the scenario. Some of these may be people who have to deal with the situations when it actually happens. For example, salespeople. Other will represent people who are supportive or hostile depending on the scenario. For example, on an angry client. Once we identify these roles, allocate them to the people involved in your exercise. They should use their imagination to put them inside in the minds of people that they are representing. This involves trying to understand their perspective, goals, motivations, and feeling when they enter this situation. So when we apply this role playing, through the activities that they play a role, employee asked to consider various perspectives and think voluntarily. Thank you.